quality of the application is also increased because every test has been executed at least once or maybe many times while doing regression testing, and the quality of the testing also increases. So the next topic is myths of the automation. People usually feel, or I would say I've seen some of the development managers who feel that automation is a magic wand. So if we need to test a huge application, they would just say that, okay, you go ahead and automate it, and I want the results in the next week. However, this is not feasible. Automation is, I would say that automation is not a magic wand, and you need to use automation to test specific scenarios only. Automation cannot be generalized and cannot be used in every kind of application. So automation can do, I agree that automation can do wonders if it is used in a right way and in the right application. So as we all know that humans are not identical and we all differ by some of the characteristics. Similarly, applications that we develop cannot be the same. They may be similar, but they may not be absolutely same that one automation strategy can be worked to all the organizations, to all the applications. So all the applications will have their own automation strategies, and we need to be very careful while designing these strategies. One more thing that generally QA managers say that we don't need any kind of automation plan. The test plan is sufficient, and we just here's the test plan and go ahead and start the automation. However, we should be very candid in saying that we need to create a separate automation plan, which is quite different than a normal test plan. So let's take an example. For example, you and your coworker just arrived in a client location in another city nearby. Maybe you are going to some other city for doing some kind of client work of the client. And before leaving the trip, you just looking for a road map because you are not aware of that particular city. But your friend says that that particular person is already aware of that city, and we can just go without a map. And after 2 hours on the road, you are driving to that city, you are hungry, and your petrol tank is also running on empty. And then you realize that actually you have lost a way. So you stop at the petrol pump to buy a map and ask them for directions. So it happens the same way when we are doing the testing. So over here, the automation plan that we need to discuss, it serves as a roadmap which tells you how you can attain a clear view of your scope, the resources that you would need, and it will also serve as a roadmap to follow to achieve your objectives and a way to measure how far you can go for your goal. And it provides a focus, and it also identifies the risk while you can do with the automation. The next point is to use the best. People generally feel that if we use the best and the most powerful automation tool available in the market, our application will be successful. However, this is not the case. This will not, using the best tool, for example, at this point of time, you can say that the QTP has captured around maybe more than 70% of the market. So QTP is an ultimate tool for your application. So this is not true. Every application is different, and every automation tool is designed, specifically designed for some applications keeping in mind. So in this particular case, for example, I'll take another example. For example, you buy a very high-end car. Suppose you love Ferrari and you get it for $1 million, and then but you are actually driving it in India. And in India also, if you go to some of the remote villages, you will not find the roads for which you can drive a Ferrari. So taking an expensive tool is not the only solution. To select a tool, you will need to consider factors such as budgets, the application's technology, maybe the engineer skills, the training curve, vendor support, etc. So all of these factors have to be taken care of while you are selecting a good automation tool. So I would go to these factors in more detail towards the end of my presentation. The next point is, generally people say just automate without any kind of framework. You have the tool, you have the resources, your resources is such a great expert. They have a great expertise in coding, so you can just go and automate, and you don't actually need a framework. Well, this is also not true, because I've practically experienced some of the huge automation failures when we have done a very good amount of coding, but since we don't have a good automation framework in place, there was some kind of confusion. For example, some of the files were overwritten, or there were some other issues. So even if you have a team of superheroes, so that cannot guarantee anything. For example, you must have watched a movie that is the Avengers. So in that movie also there were five superheroes, and they were focused on the entire movie was focused on them. But you have to use those superheroes in an adequate manner so that you can uh, find some innovative solutions. So this point would mean that we definitely need a good automation framework to work on. The other point that I've seen generally is 100% regression tests can be automated. If you have discovered any kind of regression test, so this particular test has to be automated. However, this is also not the real case scenario, because there are some regression tests which we cannot automate, for which we need to have some kind of manual intervention. To automate a test case, it needs to be the test case needs to be very much tool friendly from the technology perspective. They should have the correct data. They should be free from any kind of human interaction, and most importantly, it should be stable. On the stability part, I'll come over it in a later stage. And then a test case that is going to be automated should be required at least 3 times minimum. For example, there should not be a case that you are running a test case just only once or maybe twice. It is not at all feasible to automate it. You need to automate only those scenarios which you run at least a couple of times in a maybe release or in an year's time frame. So this actually brings about the efficiency of the automation tool. So what I've seen in my past experience is that in the best of the scenarios, if your regression script, or I would say the regression suite, is very well documented, very well written, so only 75% to a maximum of 85% of the regression scripts can be automated. I've not seen